Hello and welcome to Maximum Foods Inside Track. It's been another big fortnight around the globe. We see vaccination rates creeping up in Australia, so fingers crossed the southern states will be out of lockdown by Christmas. In the EU and US, we see things returning back to normal there. In terms of the dairy market, it was pretty uneventful GDT last night. A bit like our general manager of commercials love life. It was existent, but there wasn't much happening. So last night on the GDT, probably the biggest news to come out was that Southeast Asia, for the second event in a row, were the biggest participants. China's participation was down. Whether that is that they're buying more product off the GDT platform or not will be later revealed through import data. It is still a bullish outlook for whole milk powder going into 2022. Milk was down in August for Fonterra in New Zealand, so yeah, we probably will continue to see a pretty bullish market or a balanced market on whole milk powder over the next 3 to 6 months. Moving across to skim milk powder. Skim milk powder is probably the best performing over the last 12 months of the commodities. It's quite solid at the moment, the market. So demand is high, supply is reasonable, so pricing is remaining pretty steady. One thing attributing to higher prices in the oceanic region is basically the freight component out of the US and EU, and also EU being down on milk. So a lot of challenges, as we all know, on that freight coming from EU and the US, so a lot of people are looking for New Zealand and Australian options for safety and supply. We should see skim milk powder holding firm for the next 6 months. Having a look at AMF and butter. So firstly, EU butter pricing is still relatively high against oceanic in the US. Supply is short of fresh cream and fresh butter in the EU, so pricing is just sitting above oceanic pricing at the moment. In the US, demand for export butter is extremely high and pricing is relatively low to oceanic. However, once again, those challenges of getting product out of the US and into other markets is really making that not an option at the moment. For Australian and NZ butter, pricing remains relatively balanced. We didn't see much movement on GDT for AMF or butter last night, and we probably won't see any movement down for the next 3 to 6 months as well. So it looks reasonably firmish as well on butterfat. Having a look at cheese now. In the US, we're starting to see a bit of upward movement in the market. Demand seems to being created, obviously, as both the US and EU free up. Same thing happening over in the EU with the food service market. So cheese pricing starting to creep up in those two markets. For Oceania, it's been quite stable as it has been for the past sort of 3 to 4 months. So there seems to be pretty good supply of cheddar in both Australia and New Zealand, hence pricing being reasonably stable. This could change dramatically as Australia opens up and the food service market gets going. So interesting one to watch for the next 2 to 3 months. In particular, well, it's something we don't mention much on the Inside Track is cream cheese and Neufchâtel. This is really at historical highs with strong export market or demand out of North Asia and Southeast Asia. And we'll just finish off with whey powder. Whey demand out of China is slightly decreasing, so pricing has drifted off a little bit for sweet whey powder. For the proteins, it's still very bullish, so demand still continues to outstrip supply. Supply out of the US is still very tight. Once again, out of the US and EU, we have freight challenges for any product coming down under or to North Asia or Southeast Asia. So we won't see any real relief in pricing in the near future or 3 to 6 months. That wraps up our Inside Track. Just a reminder to all our customers, we're obviously heading into the peak season of the year. So for everyone's Christmas stock, if they can give us a call or get in touch and get that organised. It's very challenging at the moment with freight both domestically and internationally. So it'd be good to get as organised as you can so you don't miss the boat with stock. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you again soon.